I am Shay, your Love Diva Levister, the one and only certified love transformer. What makes me different from other relationship coaches is that I have a proven system that combines the science of attraction with the law of attraction and the art of conscious dating. And so, what all of this means is that I was able to put together a program that isn't just about telling a woman what she should do or making her feel terrible for the mistakes that she's made in the past. The difference is that now we have a comprehensive system that combines the spirituality aspect as well as the how-to aspect, as well as honoring that there is a science to this whole attraction thing. And that's the reason why a lot of women find themselves disadvantaged in a dating game.
Can you talk a little bit more about the science behind it?
Sure. So here's the thing, there is a reason why men look and behave the way they do, as well as women. And so when we understand that, then we can use it to our advantage. So for instance, when a man is pursuing a woman, his serotonin, which is like what's present in OCD patients. When there's a low amount of serotonin, then you're constantly obsessing and thinking about things all the time, having to do obsessive behaviors. With testosterone, that's what drives men. And this is a hormone that's major in men. And so this is what drives them to pursue you. However, when they are really into you, their testosterone drops, so they become more nurturing, like a woman. And so if a man is not displaying certain behaviors like that, he's really interested in you, that he's willing to pursue you, that he's willing to treat you right, then that means that biological process hasn't happened yet. And I teach women how to be able to use biology in order to navigate in the dating scene. And I also teach men the same thing, because there's certain behaviors in men that ignite a woman's estrogen. And when they ignite that estrogen in a woman, it makes her feel good. It makes her feel safe. It makes her feel supported, which makes her more attracted to you and makes you more desirable. And so by understanding that there's a science to all this, you can have a major advantage in a dating game.
I mean, men are from Mars, women are from Venus. We communicate differently. We do have different amounts of hormones and everything else. When you were saying that testosterone rises in men that are interested in you, I started to think that I could carry around my own safety kit of testosterone and just give them a little shot in the butt every now and then. But I like the nurturing aspect. So that's when the relationship really starts to grow. But I had no idea that it was actually estrogen, that it was all hormones.
Right. It's hormones and pheromones. And, it's funny because I always say women, pee on him, PEA. So, that hormone is present when there's attraction. And there's certain things you can do. Like when I teach my clients on how to dilate the irises of their eyes, because when you dilate your eyes, that creates affection. That makes the person who you're looking at feel like you're attracted to them. And so there's a way that you can mesmerize somebody simply with a gaze.
I had no idea that was something you could actually teach. I know for a fact I saw scientific data on that said when someone's interested in you, you can look at their eyes and their pupils will dilate. And you don't know how often I want to grab my glasses and go, are they dilated? Seriously. So that's fascinating.
That's why we consider light eyes so attractive, because we can see the way they feel immediately. We don't have to guess what's going on behind the eyes.
That's incredible. What do you think is the most common mistake most of us make?
The most common mistake, okay, so it's different for men and women, right? So for women, the most common mistake that they make is that they date to be chosen, instead of understanding that they are really in the power position of doing the choosing. And so for a woman, I always advise her that, look, at the end of the day, it's not about you saying the right things, behaving in a certain way because you want to be selected, because you might be selected by the wrong person for you. At the end of the day, you want to evaluate if you like this person. Are you attracted to this person? Is this person nice to the waiter? You want to pay attention to their answers and ask them questions as if you're trying to get to know them. Because just like when you go on an interview, and dating at all should not feel like you're being interrogated or like you're being interviewed. However, you are trying to find out if you want to hang out with this person, if you will enjoy hanging out with this person. And it's the same thing with men, but on the flip side. So for men, especially when they really like a woman, then they get insecure and they get really accommodating. And when I say accommodating, that means that women are attracted to men who are certain, right? It goes beyond confidence. It goes with certainty. And so when a man is confident and he has that certainty in his eyes, and when he says what he means what he says, and he's still kind and he's funny, amazing turn on. And so when a men show up on a date, they're showing up to qualify for the job. So they start talking about themselves and all the great things they've accomplished and their jobs and everything else. And the woman's just sitting there like, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And they think it's a great date. Like the guy's like, oh my God, this is an amazing date because he got a chance to talk about himself and sell himself. But to the woman, she's like, I didn't even get to say anything at all. It was the most boring date. I don't want to see him again. And that's because he didn't give her a chance to even discuss herself and to get him to get to know her more.
Shay, this makes so much sense, and it really shows that we have this need for a love transformer, because it is. Men and women are different. It just is what it is, and why wouldn't we date differently? And I do know men who have been like, oh my gosh, we had the best time, and she never wanted to see him again. And he's like, right. Why? I told her how wonderful I was.
Exactly.
But exactly. So that's a great point. What are some tips that you offer your clients just right off the bat that we could start doing at home today to start dating better at our age? Generation X, how do we date now? Give us some tips.
All right. So listen, when you're dating over 40, it's slightly different. But you don't have a disadvantage because I can't tell you how many of the Gen X people, singles that I meet that are like, oh my gosh, dating is so hard for us. It's so hard for us to find love. But you too, first of all, you're worthy to find love and you're more than capable of finding love. However, the resources that are out there nowadays is not conducive for us when we're dating in the dating world. And so up until now, you didn't have any resources to teach you how to date. But how do you do that? Like, let me tell you some tips on how to have an advantage in the dating world. The first thing is to understand that because your life is really busy, a lot of singles over 40, they're pretty settled in what they do, right? So they have their job, they have their outside activities, they take care of their parents, they might even have kids already. And so their life is pretty busy. But in order to be able to date, you have to make time. You got to make time and space in your life and your schedule for dating. The same way you would make time when love walks into your life. And so it's important that you can look at your schedule and determine where can you adjust it a little bit to make time. Maybe instead of going to 3 of the different organization meetings that you go to every single week, you can pull it back to 2. Instead of working from 6 o'clock in the morning to 9 o'clock in the evening, maybe you can do 8 to 7, or 8 to 6. So it's basically making time. And then also making space in your mind, because we've been through a lot, us Gen Xers. We've been through some disappointments, especially if we've been divorced and if we're still single. And a lot of times that resentment takes up its own space. And that means that if you have your hurt and your resentment occupying space, then a new person cannot come in. Most likely you're going to vibrate somebody that's just like your ex back into your life. So it's important that you can totally heal, completely heal, be over your ex, be over whatever was done wrong to you, forgive it, learn the lesson, and be able to move on. And then the last, but certainly not least, is get out there. It's important to get out there, and going online is not the only option with dating nowadays. There's so many different ways that you can meet people. There's so many different singles organizations. You can go to meetup.com to meet people. You can join single ministries at churches. There's like even groups that gather together where they have their friends. They will invite their friends, and then you have different friends mingling with each other and connecting that way, and just having a simple house gathering of different friends that can potentially turn into more for the individuals that are meeting up.
Your friends can meet my friends. What else?
So Be open.
That's a good point. I think most people aren't open. They think it's just supposed to happen, and they don't want to take the time and invest and make the changes, and also be aware of their own wants and desires and what they've learned from their past relationships. Sometimes it's really hard to look at it, but you're so much further ahead when you do, because then all of a sudden you know what you want and you know what you don't and what you can deal with and what you can't. So,
Absolutely.
and you think that's important to have a list and things that you want in a partner? What do you think about a list?
When people ask me about a list, I think back to the time when I have a list. And especially like if you're over 40, your life is established, you already was able to accomplish a lot in life already. And you don't want to feel like you have to settle for someone who makes less than you or who doesn't have as much as you have. And certainly we don't want to be taken advantage of. However, a lot of the lists that I see are very superficial and can literally hinder us from being able to attract love. So let me give you an example. So when I was dating, I was already a single mother of 2 kids. I was already well into my career. I had my own house. I had a very nice car. I had all these things that I wanted that I can do for myself. So on my list, he had to be 6 foot tall. He had to make 6 figures. He had to be college educated. He had to, drive a nice car. He had to have all these different superficial things. And I can't tell you how many times I was pushing guys away. Well, my husband, who was my best friend, he was actually my childhood sweetheart from the time we were 14 years old. And he didn't have that, right? He certainly wasn't 6 feet tall. He was only 5'7" and 7'8". And he insists that you give him that other 7/8. And he wasn't making the money he wanted to make, and he wasn't driving what I thought he should drive. And, all these different superficial things were in place. So I would not give him the time of day. And he pursued me for a while, and I still wouldn't consider him until I had that moment, right? Where I heard Spirit say, that's your husband. And me and God literally argued, like, there's no way, God, because he does this, this, and this, and he doesn't meet this, this, and this on my list. But then when I got whole and I was able to finally see him, I saw him beyond his potential, because I don't advise dating anybody based on their potential. I advise you to date based on their track that they're on. If they're driving to Cincinnati and you're trying to get to Cincinnati, hop in the car. They might not be in there, but at least they're on the way to Cincinnati. So now that me and my husband, we've been together now again. We've been married for 6 years. We started dating 8 years ago, and he has everything and more than what I had on my supposed list. So I say, focus on the things that matter. It's okay to have some non-negotiables. For instance, he has to treat me right. He has to respect me. He has to be honest. He has to be faithful. He has to be a spiritual man. He needs to be healthy. Like, those things are okay. Having superficial things like he needs to drive a Ferrari, he needs to make $4 million, and all the things that I hear over and over again, those type of things can literally keep us from the love that is waiting for us.
How did you realize that with your husband? That just because he wasn't 6 feet tall, and when did the list get tossed out?
This is the reason why self-healing and self-care is so important. Because once I was able to get me where I needed to be, then I finally had the ears and eyes to see him and to hear God when God was telling me that this is my one. And this is an important aspect. That's where you have the law of attraction and that spiritual aspect that comes into play. Because there's some things that we need to tap into spirit that go way beyond our comprehension. And when we're able to faithfully follow that, then the possibilities are endless, and it goes beyond what we could have conceived of. Now, my husband, who he's still 5'7" and 7/8, he gives the best hugs. He's the best husband. He's my best friend. We raise a family together. We travel together, and we have this awesome life. And that's because I finally got to the place of tossing out the superficial list and putting a list in place that was beneficial to me. So let me tell you about the list that you should have. The list you should have is a list of things of what you need to be in order to attract what you want. So what are the things in you that you're falling short on? Maybe you're attracting liars because you keep lying to yourself and telling yourself that you're less than who you really are. You keep telling yourself you're not beautiful enough, you're not thin enough, you're not smart enough, you're not tall enough, you're not whatever enough. And because of that, you keep attracting people that reflect the way you feel about yourself. So work on that. Or have a list where you say, I want to be able to enjoy time with myself. I want to be able to take myself out on a date and have fun and make myself laugh. Then you can expect to have somebody come in your life that makes you laugh, because you are exactly what you want to attract.
This definitely comes back to the statement that is always said, which is love yourself first and most, and then the rest will follow. And a little shout out to the short men. I fell in love with mine, and he's not 6 foot, and I was dating 6'4". I'm 5'3". You know, I could get a neck, pain and a cramp looking up. Now I look my man right in the eyes.
The tallest man that I dated was 6'7". And what am I going to do? Like, I literally used to have to stand on chairs. This is just ridiculous. I don't need that. I'm 5'1". And my husband's still taller than me at his 5'7". So, that's the thing, is that if we could just get out of our own way, because, another thing about the list is that a lot of us who are still single are single because we are terrified of the possibility of being disappointed, left, or hurt again. And so one side of us wants love. We want companionship. We want the affection. We want all the benefits that come with a relationship without the risk of pain. And so we will throw a list in there and say, he doesn't meet that list. I'm going to get rid of him, because that eliminates another possibility of somebody hurting them. But here's the thing. It's just like a boat. It's safest in the harbor. Yes, it's safe. It's safe from the storms. It's safe from being tossed around. However, a boat was designed to go in the ocean. Can it experience a storm? Yes. But can it be put back together? Yes. So you were designed to go out there and be loved and give love and trust and believe that if it does not work, it just brings you closer to the one you're supposed to be with. And it allows you to love on a level beyond any comprehension. The deeper you hurt, the deeper you're able to love. And so the same walls that you build to keep hurt out are the same ones you build to keep love in. So put the walls down and let love in.
I love that, Shay. What about the desperate, the people that aren't safe in the harbor, the people that are constantly going out to sea, and every single ship they meet, they're like, oh, I love you. You're amazing. What about those? How can they kind of take a step back and realize, don't do that to yourself or to any potential partner, because you're going to sabotage it right from the beginning? How do you start to take care of you and find some self-confidence before going out on some of these dates?
I'm so glad that you said the part about take care of you, because it all starts with you. When people who are operating in this way, and if you are operating in this way, then it's okay. Like, it's because, like, be okay with yourself and don't judge yourself, but understanding that it's coming from a place of hurt. It's coming from a place of fear. It's coming from a place of unresolved issues that are operating from your subconscious mind. And so I talk to people about this all the time. And this is the reason why the advice books and the gurus and all of the advice out there does not work, because I can tell them all day long, look, you deserve better than that. And you shouldn't do this and you shouldn't do that. But if subconsciously they're being driven to do a certain behavior because it's meeting some unmet need, then they're going to continue to do the same behavior. So this is what I share with you. 90% of our thoughts, our behaviors, and our beliefs is based off of our subconscious programming. And our subconscious programming is developed from childhood, from our childhood experiences, our childhood hurts, and our great experiences. And it creates our blueprint on the way we think the world should operate and the way we should look. So we don't get what we want. We get what we expect. And our subconscious mind was not designed to make us happy. It was designed to keep us alive. So if you grew up in a household where your father was distant or where he verbally abused your mother, then you're going to experience attracting men who verbally abuse you in some shape or form, unless you heal that thought pattern, which is normal to your subconscious mind. And so for a woman who is operating and who's desperate, somewhere in her, she does not feel like she is worthy, that she is good enough. There's an experience that happened to her that created the belief system that she has to earn love, that she's not automatically worthy of love. And so in order to change that behavior, you got to go in and transform and rewrite that subconscious programming. So how do you do that? There's different tools that I use as a certified master relationship coach. And one of the things that I was able to create was called the positive mind meditation system. And I have my clients listen to the system, the different meditations, depending on whatever the issue is that they're trying to heal. And they have to listen to that at night, and they listen to it over and over again. And it starts to write the programming or rewrite it subconsciously. I also have them do positive affirmations. And the affirmations aren't good enough to do while you're fearful or while you're feeling bad. Like, you got to get your emotions in a higher state first before you're saying the affirmations. That's the only way your subconscious mind can absorb it. And so by being able to do these things, you're able to rewrite these programming, and this programming that is keeping you from love. And then once it rewrites it, then you naturally start to behave the way you need to behave so you can move towards a love experience that you really want.
Oh, Shay, I think we all need you. I mean, oh my goodness, why didn't I find you about forever ago?
Oh.
What made you decide to do this? Were you always the girl fixing up her friends and getting involved in people's love lives? Or were you just struggling to find the right person for yourself? And you were like, you know what? I'm going to take control of this situation and do it my way and figure it out. What was it for you?
Well, I grew up in a very dysfunctional household. I witnessed my mother being physically and verbally abused on a regular basis by my father. And her mother was abused and verbally assaulted and physically assaulted by her husband. And it was like a line of just dysfunctional relationships. And I remember when I was younger saying I would never allow a man to control me, and I would never allow a man to put his hands on me. And then here I found myself in an abusive relationship. And so I started this journey because I wanted more for my daughter. I wanted her to see that mommy can attract a healthy relationship, and you will be able to witness what it looks like for a man to treat you right. And so when I started this journey and I started the dating experiment, I started the dating experiment of going on over 100 dates in 90 days because I wanted to learn what I didn't know. I mean, I kept attracting all the wrong guys. I had to figure it out. And so as a science background person, I graduated pre-med biology. I had to do the study myself. And so I read over 100 relationship and human behavior books. I interviewed thousands of men, women, and couples, trying to understand the way they think, trying to understand the art of dating. And at the end of it, the information I gained was so powerful that I used to document how fast can I get a guy to fall for me. And so I started doing YouTube videos, and it sounds kind of morbid, but I did it because if something happened to me, God forbid, my daughter would be able to look at the videos and go back to the advice that I learned on my journey. Last happened was I was showing how I could get a guy to fall for me in 30 days. And how I was able to do that was I would start off with a video and I would say, okay, today's day one. I met this guy. He seems great. In 30 days, I will have this guy falling madly in love with me. And then sure enough, I would have the guy come on the video and then tell the world, like, why is he so crazy about me? And that would show everybody how much my system worked, right? But what happened was women started reaching out to me. They started asking me questions like, Shay, I'm with this guy I really care about, but he always tells me he loves me, but he doesn't treat me right. Or I got the even more serious questions like, Shay, my husband just beat me last night and I don't know what to do. Like, I want to leave, but I have kids and I just don't know where I'm going to go or what I'm going to do. And so this got real. It's like this journey started to choose me and I couldn't leave them hanging. So I started answering questions and giving advice. And then slowly but surely, I started getting clients asking me to teach them the system and teach them how to manifest love. And here I am, you know, a book or 5 books later, an app later, where I can have the blessed opportunity of helping to inspire people all around the world to manifest a love that God intended for all of us. So it's not the journey I thought I was going to choose. I was planning on being a doctor, but this is the journey that chose me.
Well, you are the official doctor of love. I know you're the official love transformer, but you are also a doctor of love. And I cannot wait for people to meet you if they haven't already, because I think you're going to change a lot of lives for the better. I am so glad that this journey chose you, because I think this is one you were meant to do.
Thank you so much. That really does mean a lot. I believe that as well.
Question: what are the 3 qualities that women find irresistible in a man and that men find irresistible in a woman?
So 3 things that women find irresistible and attractive in men. First thing are funny men. Men who are funny, because who doesn't want to laugh? You know, when you start laughing, you get that dopamine response and release, and it makes us feel good and it puts us at ease. So women like funny men and men who are fun to be around. 2, women like men who do what they say they're going to do. Men that they can trust. And men, it's something in a woman's brain that tells her if you're lying or not. So it's best for you just to be upfront and honest and straightforward from the beginning. And last but not least, women love, even instinctually, biologically, every part of us loves a certain man that goes beyond confidence, because you can fake confidence, but you can't fake certainty. And when we say certainty, we mean a man who he's confident in himself, he loves what he does, but he's still humble, but he knows that when he says what he says, he means what he says, and he doesn't have to adapt for the woman just to get her to like him, because he likes himself. And so he's like, this is who I am. I embrace and accept who I am. Hopefully you can embrace and accept who I am. And if you don't, I wish you the best. There's no hard feelings. And so having that level of certainty makes you irresistible. That's the reason why a lot of women start off liking bad boys. But you can like a certain good boy and get the best of both worlds, ladies. And for a lady, what men find irresistible in women are the it factor. The it factor is a woman who has that certainty, but she also has that air of, I am a queen. I know exactly what I'm bringing to the table. I know what my strengths are. I know what my values are. I don't have to compromise or beg you to love me or beg you to accept me. This is what I will accept and this is what I won't accept. And so having that air about you that you don't have to say it all the time, but that's just the way you carry yourself, that is irresistible for a man, that level of certainty and that it factor. Another thing that men find irresistible in a woman is a busy woman, a woman who has a life. It is not, men, would you agree with me or not, that a woman who is constantly texting and calling you and is like, what are you doing? And can you come over? Is such a turnoff to men. It's important that you have your own life, that you are happy with yourself, and that he has to catch up with you. You might not be available all the time when he wants to, but that's what makes the chase that much more exciting. And trust me, ladies, that testosterone that's in a man makes him want to chase you. It's in his DNA. And so if he's not chasing you, he's not the one. Keep it moving. And then last but not least, what men find irresistible is a woman with standards. When you have standards, ladies, a man who finds you irresistible, which you will when you have that it factor, and also when you are operating from your place of strength, then when you have that standard, he will rise up to the occasion. I promise you. If he is not rising up to the occasion of your standard, and when I say standard, that means that everybody doesn't have easy access to you. Not everybody should be able to share your space, share your bed, and share your mind. You shouldn't just be sharing past hurts and experience with a man just because he wants to know and he asks. What's happened in the past has happened in the past. But what you don't want to do is go around sharing about how everybody dogged you out or mistreated you, because then subconsciously he will wonder if A, are you a drama queen? Do you attract the negativity, or what's wrong with you? And for some men, they will think they can also mistreat you as well. And so make sure that you maintain that standard for others with the way they treat you, as well as with yourself in the way you love, honor, and treat yourself.
Boundaries. Have boundaries.
Boundaries, yes.
Shay, you are so right. Everything you've been saying, if I haven't read it or Googled it or seen it, I mean, you were just one resource of all the right information.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
The ladies that I coach are able to learn the Diva Love method. They're able to attract men like bees to honey, like clockwork. They're able to get these men and command their attention and command their desire for them because they learn the strategies and the methods that make them irresistible. So it's not a matter of your age, it's a matter of your know-how. And once you learn the secrets, then you got it in the bag. And you're now starting to date in a lane where there is no competition.
How can everyone find you now, either as a personal coach or online courses? I hear you have some. How can we get help from you? How can you transform our love life?
Well, I have a class that is starting April the 1st, and this class is absolutely transformative because I literally holistically help them to transform from the inside out without pain, without the uncertainty and the frustration that comes with trying to date all by yourself. And so we will go from A to B to transform you into the kind of woman who is absolutely irresistible. And that starts April the 1st. And then I also have some programs that you can do on your own, and it's self-guided, and you watch my videos and you listen to the audios and you go through the book and you do it yourself. And all of that is on my website at shayyourlovediva.com, or you can follow me on Instagram at shayyourlovediva, or I'm on Facebook at Shay Your Love Diva, and on LinkedIn, Shay Your Love Diva. So everywhere is Shay, SHAY, Your Love Diva. So make sure you follow me. And at the very least, right now today, download my app. It's called Cup of Love. And by downloading that app, that will keep you in the positive vibration of attracting love and remembering what your original mission is that you want to accomplish. And that is to manifest a love that was designed just for your beautiful self.
Stay tuned for next week. And welcome to my world, the world according to Lee. And don't forget to subscribe